Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Bobibastro Daf Lamed Zayin. We're going to start Lamed Vav and base 5 lines up. Omar Rabbi Shmuel, the Medvar Maruim B'Stalovon. Rabbi Shmuel says that if we have a field that's Ilon and it has in it grapes, olives, and figs, in 1 year you could have a chazaka because 3 different periods of time you take the fruit. So it's like 3 times you took the fruit and it didn't do mechor, you have a chazaka. Rabbanon argue, says you need each fruit 3 times. Says a Gemara, Oma Abaye, Rabbi Shmuel, from the Shitta of Rabbi Shmuel, Nishma Rabbanon, we could learn something about Rabbanon's Shitta. That if Oyulo Shloishim Elonois Nimato Asar Lebeseo, he had 30 trees, and each 10 trees were in a Beiso. Now, Ochal Asara B'Shonazu, in the first year he ate from 10 trees in the field, Vasara B'Shonazu, and the next year from 10 other fields, 10 other trees, Vasara B'Shonazu, and the third year he ate 10 trees in the third year. Even though they never ate from all the trees every year, Aryeh Chazaka. It's a chazaka. How do we know this? Says the Gemara Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph. Lav miyomar Rabbi Shmuel chad pera ave chazaka lekuli pera. Like Rabbi Shmuel, when you eat the olives, it's a chazaka also for the grapes and the figs. And when you eat the figs, it's a chazaka for the olives and the grapes. And when you eat the grapes, it's a chazaka for the olives and the figs. I might have said this wrong, but it's chazaka also on the other fruit that you never ate. Ochenami, also here, Hani have chazaka lahani v'hani have chazaka lahani. If you ate 10 trees, it's a chazaka for the other 20 trees. And we can learn from Rabbi Shmuel, very good Rabbanon need 3 years, but yeah, you don't need to eat all the trees. Selling more of animili, that's only eicha deloi afiku. If the trees never produced, only 10 of them, and he ate the 10 that produced. Aval afiku, if they all produce fruit, and he only ate 10 of them, because he didn't eat it like a person eats. Normally when the trees bring produce, you eat everything. So the Gemara, another t'nai, bazuzi, that these trees they ate every year was spread. 3 in this beisah, 3 in this beisah, 4 in that beisah. Then it's a chazaka for all of them. But if you ate 10 that's in one beisah, and then the next year 10 in a different beisah, and the third year 10 in the other beisah, then it's not chazaka for all of them, because each one's considered a separate field. It says the Gemara, 2 people have a chazaka. One was using the trees, taking the produce, and one was using the ground. Let's say to put his animals over there. The one who was machzik the ilonis is kind of only the ilonis, and the one that's kind of had the chazaka on the karka is kind of the karka. Matkif or Papa asked the cash on this. If so, it comes out that the person of the tree doesn't have any right in the karka, only in the trees. The other one who's muchzik in the karka should tell the person who's muchzik in the trees, the bala ilonis, akori loincho, take your trees in my field, shkoil, take them, v'zilan, go. Leave over here if he has no right in the trees. And Papa argues on Razvid, and he says, the one who did chazaka in the ilonis has also half of the karka, because he needs karka to able to keep his ilonis over there. And the one who is machzik only the karka has half the land. So we have a machlokes Rav Zidor and Papa, and we're going to see in Omud Beis it comes in again. Something more pshita if mochar karka. So before we start this tomorrow, we're going to just say that there's a machlokes Rabbi Akiva and Rabbanon. If Reuven sold to Shimon his house, and he left for himself a borrow of water, a well of water in the chotza that he's not selling. The question is, did he leave for himself a path to get into that borrow or not? So Rabbi Akiva holds when someone sells, he sells with a good eye. So he sells without leaving anything for himself, only what specifically he said. And Rabbanan says, no, but he sells with a bad eye and he leaves himself a path to get to his borrow. Now let's see the Gemara. Pshita, it's obvious if Mochar Karka, if Reuven sold Shimon a land, and he told him clearly, Vishir Ilonos, I'm keeping the trees for myself, Lefonov, Yeshloi Karka. He's keeping also a part of the land that you need for these trees. That figure Rabbi Akiva that we just explained before. He sells in a nice eye. So like when he sells the house without the well, he doesn't keep a path. So also when he sells a field without the trees, he doesn't keep any land. No, says the Gemara, that's when it's a type of places where you store water. Boris are normal and this is a different storage of water. That they don't cause damage to the land, and therefore, if he sells only the borough, the owner of the house, of the chotzer, can't come and tell him, your borough is causing me damage to my chotzer, I can't plant here stuff, it's not causing any damage, so therefore no one's going to kick him away, and therefore he's not meshayah for himself anything. So when a person leaves for himself, not a borough, he leaves for himself trees, lamedain on the base, the makfishi be'ara, that trees make the land weaker, shir shire. He does leave himself also part of the land. If he won't leave himself any part of the land, the buyer who bought the land is going to tell him, Akur, you're going to read like the Bach, Akur, take your trees out, vizil, and go. And he'll have to do so. So therefore, he for sure leaves himself a piece of the land that the trees need. So that's obvious. Says the Gemara, but if someone had a field together with trees and he sold the trees v'shir karka lefonov and he left the field for himself, look to Rabbi Akiva Rabbanon. There we come to Machlokes for Rabbi Akiva Rabbanon that we mentioned before. When he sold the trees, did he also sell him a piece of the land? The Rabbi Akiva Doma Moiche Bain Yofa Moiche sells with a good eye. Islay, so the person who he gives him a good eye, so he not only sold the Ilonis, he also sold the land that the Ilonis need. But the Rabbanon, Leslie, the Rabbanon will hold that when you sell with a bad eye, so he sold only the trees without no land. The Gemara explains more. The Rabbi Akiva Islay, the buyer has not only the trees, also land. Even the Rav Zvid on Amud Aleph, who said that two people who did a chazaka, that one has only the trees and one has only the field. That's when two people are buying it from someone else, one a trees and one a land. That he says to each other, the Lekech says to the other Lekech, the one who bought the land says, like for me, Leslie Bilonis, I don't get anything from the trees, you too, Nami Leslach Bakarka, you don't have anything in the land, and the land's mine and the trees are yours. Over here, here, it's a Moicha selling it to them. So therefore, we say that he's selling with a good eye, and therefore he sold not only the trees, he sold also the piece of land that the trees need. And Rabbanon, Lefishitas Rabbanon Leslie. Lefishitas Rabbanon, when he sells the trees and he leaves himself the land, he's not selling any of the land. Even Rav Papa, that when two people bought from a third person, one the trees and one the land, the person who bought the trees has in the land, when two people are buying off a third person, one tells each other, the person of the trees tell the person of the karka, like the person sold to you with a good eye, to me, he sold the trees also with a good eye, and selling the trees with a good eye means to give me a piece of karka. Over here, here it's so much buying off the seller himself, and the seller gives him a bad eye, so when he sells only the trees, he doesn't sell any piece of land. Said the Gemara, Amri Naradoi. Naradoi said, Ochlon Ritzufim Eino Chazaka. So Ritzufim means squashed. Someone sold to someone a field of trees that there were too many trees growing in the same field, more than what's good for the trees, and it's normally meant to be uprooted, such a type of growth. So, and the person ate 3 years, he doesn't have a chazaka because these trees are not meant to be for fruit, they're meant to be up to cut them down. Matki Florova, Elomeato, if you tell me so, someone who bought a place where you grow aspasta, it's like food for the animals, they grow it very squashed together. But my konilo, you can't do chazaka because it's squashed together, and you say when it's squashed together, it's not good. Elom, Rava says, if you want to tell me something about tzfufim, I'll tell you something else. Machron Ritzufim, if someone Reuven sold to Shimon's trees, like too many trees in one piece of land, more than what's good for the trees, and the karka. Normally we say when someone sells 3 trees in his field, he gets karka together with the trees. But if the trees were very squashed, he wasn't giving him karka because these trees are meant to be uprooted, they're not meant to be left there. Omar Abzera, says Rabzera, Ketanoi, this what Rava says doesn't fit in like everyone, it's a machlokes Tanoi. Because let's see, the Brisa says, Kerem, Shul Notu al Pachos Mi Arba Amos, someone who has a vineyard that's between each line of the vineyard is less than 4 ames, so you need normally Reb Shimon Omer in a kerem. It doesn't have a din kerem, and you could grow the wheat and it's not kilayim, and it doesn't have any dinim of kerem, and therefore Rabba's din fits in like Reb Shimon, that it's not kerem, it's not trees when it's too squashed, and therefore he sold it to him to sell it, to cut it down and not to give him land. The Chachomim Oimrim arei tu kerem. It is a kerem. You look at the middle, let's say the 3 rows, each row is 3 ames from each other, that's too little from 4 ames, but you look at the middle row as if it's not existing, and there's 6 ames between the first and the last row, and that's good, and that's a kerem, and therefore it has a all dini kerem of kilayim, etc. And therefore by us, when a person sold trees too squashed, you look at some trees as if they're not there, and therefore it's a good field, and therefore when a person sells 3 trees, we said he gets karka, so he will get karka, not like what Rava said. Thank you very much. We should all be blessed and only hear the Besuros Tovos.